We were talking about investments that the government needs to make sure that the infrastructure for the BS6 rollout is in place by 2019. But Mr. Bhargav, if I can ask you, what is the kind of investment that we're talking about on account of the new emission changes, on account of the new safety changes? Just before we started, I saw a report from ICRA which talked about the impact of the new emission norms on two-wheelers specifically, saying that it could be anywhere between 10 to 20%. But on account of both emission as well as safety, what are we talking about actually?
No, per car on diesel cars, if we get to Euro 6, is going to add roughly ₹1,00,000 per car. On the petrol cars, the amount is much smaller. I think it'll come to about ₹10,000, something like that. It's not very significant. So that's what...
So wouldn't that then be the answer to the diesel problem? I would imagine ₹1,00,000 higher on a diesel car would disincentivize the consumer.
Once you get to Euro 6, the emission from diesel cars is not very much different from what it is from a petrol car. So in any case, your problem of what we're talking about, although that's not the real problem in Delhi, they were all in most parts of India. I think we've got this emission thing wrong. We are focusing on things which will not make any significant difference to the environment. What is causing the most pollution is not being tackled. But that's a separate issue. But you're also asking about electric cars.
Yeah.
The only comment I have is, of course, I agree with what Pawan said about subsidies, that you can't run any industry on perpetual subsidies, not possible. But I think somebody should also look at the customer's point of view when we talk of electric cars. That if you want to make it a bulk product, what does the customer think of an electric car? What is his convenience? Does he think it's a better car than a petrol car or a CNG car or a diesel car? If not, why not? Because there are issues in electric cars which are not present in other cars. And if the customer doesn't like the product, you can do what you like, but you will not sell the car. And I think to some extent, Mahindra is finding that out, that so far the customer has not accepted the electric car.
And I think at this price?
At this price, no, I don't think the price is going to make it.
The price is the problem. The car is good.
No, if you give it free, something different may happen. But
they have to take more number for manufacturing, reduce the cost, then it can be a popular car.
Sir, it's not going to be that. If I was an ordinary citizen of this country and I bought an electric car, my problem would be, where do I charge the car?
Yeah. There is the
when I'm
infrastructure
parking my
challenge.
car on the roadside, I don't have a fixed parking, I don't have a garage, I don't have a driveway. What do I do with that car?
But you raise an important point, sir, and I want to come to Mr. Goenka on that. I'll come to the minister in just a second. But Mr. Goenka, on this issue of popularizing electric vehicles, and let's look at what Tesla has managed to do globally today, sir. You know, they started off at the high end, as opposed to you tried to start at the bottom or at the lower end. But at that cost, it's not really attractive. Is it also now a question of approaching this problem differently? They're now moving down. So Tesla, after starting at the premium, is now starting to move down. Is it also, a different way that we need to approach this issue?
See, it's a question of what problem are you trying to solve. Okay. If we say that electric vehicles are good for the environment, if we say electric vehicles are good for saving CO2, then we need to get to a situation where the vehicles are more popular and more number of people buy it. And therefore, if we are going to be selling electric vehicle in India at 35 lakh, 40 lakh, how many are we going to sell? And what difference is going to make? If we can sell the vehicle at 6, 7, 8 lakhs, then we would be in the mainstream. And that's how it's going to make a difference. Just like the minister said that we need to increase the volume. And the game is to be able to increase the volume. And he's absolutely right. If we can make 10,000 vehicles a year, our cost will be much lower. But today there is not demand for 10,000 vehicles at any price. So we need to kind of work from both ends. And that's where the subsidy comes in, to bridge the gap between the time when the volumes come in. And therefore there should be a fixed time that after 3 years, no subsidy. Then you're on your own. But till 3 years, there's support required.
Mr. Gadkari, I want to move away from this and just talk to you a little bit, sir, about one of the other objectives as far as the automotive mission plan was, and that was the life end policy, which is now being called the scrappage policy. So the last conversation you and I had, you said that a draft was ready. You've put out a white paper now, and it's a question of taking it to the cabinet, sir. When can we now expect this?
Actually, I don't know, but today I signed 2 important files.
Okay.
One of the file was with the scrapping policy. We have submitted to Finance Ministry. They suggest something. And today I write a letter to the Finance Minister to give me time for discussion on this subject. So first of all, I'm going to present this policy to the Finance Minister as early as possible. And after his approval, we can go to Cabinet. And the second important issue, which is very beneficial to the industry, regarding the Motor Vehicle Act. Actually, when the bill was prepared by the government, there was a lot of problems from the state government. But I appointed a committee under Mr. Yunus Khan, the Transport Minister of Rajasthan, and all transport ministers from the different states belong to different political parties. They giving me one draft. That unanimous draft which is given by the committee to me, it is really good. It is up to the mark, and today I sign it. The file is the subject is now moved for the cabinet, and today also I phoned to Law Minister, and only I need his appraisal for that. And probably now I am confident that for this Parliament session, we will in position to present this act to the Parliament.
Okay.
And I am confident that before 20 or 22, 23 for this month, we will pass this in Cabinet. And we will go for the Parliament for that. And that is also going to solve a lot of problems.
Okay, so the Motor Vehicles Act, you believe, will
and
go
the
through
scrapping policy is with the Finance Minister now. Because,
so on the scrapping policy, is one of the hurdles the tax incentives that you're talking about? Is that where that is the stumbling block?
There is some, because it will not be appropriate for me to what is the comments from the Finance Ministry. But in my policy, I suggest them that they should exempt excise and other thing. So they have some reservation. But I feel that this policy is in the interest of the manufacturer. This policy is very much interested for government to increase their revenue. And this policy is also very much important for the environment. And this is, as far the road security, the particular safety is concerned, I feel that this will solve all type of problems, and it is a win-win position for all stakeholders.
What is the broad timeline that you're looking at, sir, by when we could actually see the government unveil the new scrappage policy?
Now, I can only give the assurance that I am submitted to the Finance Minister. And one thing is very appropriate, that the economic views of the Prime Minister, the Finance Minister, and particularly my views, they are all the same line.
Okay.
So I feel that the Finance Minister, after with his discussion, will find out the solution. And by taking clearance from him, we will go to the Cabinet.